We are seeing quite a lot of lightning, and with that, because it is still quite dry with that lightning, there is the ongoing risk of dry lightning and further fire ignition, so that is the main concern with that.
What you just heard there was AM radio saving lives 7 months ago in Victoria. Now, officially the source of truth in Victoria is the VicEmergency app. Even the ABC tells you that on air. But drive out into the middle of the state and it will tell you, do not download an app. They say, tune into the radio. Why the two answers? And why would it take an act of parliament to switch off AM?
The information on the VicEmergency app was critical to ensure that community had a source of truth.
Let's be fair to the app first, because the app is genuinely the right primary. VicEmergency is fed straight from 000 data and the fire agencies. It's geo-targeted, it updates in seconds. And for coverage, that's Telstra's map, nearly everywhere people live. So case closed. Why would you need anything else? Because that map has assumptions baked into it. That is a normal day. Here's what an abnormal day looks like.
Blamed on the Telstra outage.
10% of Telstra customers after a telco blackout impacting the nation.
And it rolls on. Optus outage. A major outage is impacting Telstra users right across Australia, with tens of thousands of people unable to make calls or texts.
Yeah, it's also...
No telco provider is immune. In January, the Ravenswood fire hit Castlemaine. The power went out, which killed everyone's Wi-Fi and NBN, so the whole town fell back onto mobile. And then the network couldn't cope. People had full bars and couldn't get through. Then the fire took out the comms tower on Mount Alexander nearby, which also carried the local ABC FM signal. So even people with a battery radio in the emergency kit were unable to hear anything. But 774 kept working the whole time because it came from a transmitter 100 kilometers away in Melbourne, and the fire never went anywhere near it. That's why there are two answers. The app is the main system, and a radio outside the fire zone is a backup for when everything local goes down. So why could the fire kill FM and not AM? It comes down to architecture. The app needs thousands of cell towers, each one fed by the grid. FM needs a repeater on a hilltop near you, and hilltops are conveniently where fires go. Mount Alexander carried the mobile network and FM. One hill shared the same fate. AM is different physics. Down at 774 kHz, the wavelength is nearly 400 meters. The signal grips the ground and follows the curvature of the earth. No hilltop needed. One 50 kilowatt transmitter on flat ground covers most of the state. This trash sounding jazz is coming from Brisbane. Try that with FM radio, you won't get the same results. So, radio stays in the stack. Why can't the ABC just modernise its way out of AM? Two reasons. First, nobody owns an off switch. The states pick the emergency broadcasters, the feds fund the ABC to be one. The ABC picks the bands, but a private company owns the towers, and the ACMA owns the spectrums. 5 hands on one switch. And second, the weird one. The Parliamentary Proceeding Broadcasting Act. It requires federal parliament to be broadcasted on medium wave national station. Medium wave. AM. Not because AM was chosen, because in 1946 there was nothing else, and nobody has ever updated it. The ABC moved Perth to FM this year, but it could not kill AM. News radio stays on 585, the site stays powered, and mast stays maintained. For a law written when wireless was the future, fully switching off AM isn't a business decision, it's legislation. So why can't we switch AM off? The emergency system needs one layer that still works when internet, power, and mobile service is down. And right now, that layer is AM because it's the only signal that doesn't depend on anything inside the disaster zone. And even if we decided we didn't want to use them anymore, a law from 1946 requires us still to use those AM transmitters regardless. Alright, now a question for you guys. If AM is to be replaced, what would the next mode of communication be? I'm curious what you think in the comments. I hope you learned something from this, and yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.